Miss Evelyn Carter stood there, steadying herself against the polished counter, as the machine counted the money she had fought so hard to claim. Her purse open and ready, but her spirit bracing for something else entirely. Because the bank had gone silent, too silent. The kind of silence that builds before a storm or a revelation. Vin Diesel stayed close, not hovering, not acting like a celebrity, but like a man who simply refused injustice. The teller, cheeks flushed with embarrassment and fear of consequences, handed Evelyn her cash with stiff hands. "Have a good day," she whispered, the words mechanical and empty. "I plan to," Evelyn replied softly, but there was steel beneath her voice now. She turned, cane tapping rhythmically, her dignity stitched back into place thread by thread. Yet before she took even 3 steps, a voice, sharper, entitled, sliced through the room. "What is going on here?" A man in a suit emerged from an office, his chin lifted like he was smelling something unpleasant. The branch manager, polished, practiced, and poised in that way people get when they mistake authority for superiority. Why are customers recording? And why was Mr. Diesel involved in a standard transaction? His tone wasn't concern, it was accusation. He didn't even look at Evelyn at first. She was an afterthought, a shadow, until Vin spoke. "Your teller tried to deny this woman her own money," he said, still calm, still dangerous. "She insulted her, publicly." The manager's jaw tightened. Slowly, reluctantly, his eyes landed on Evelyn, and something flickered there. Not recognition of wrong, but calculation. "Ma'am, I'm sure there was a misunderstanding," he began. His voice dipped in false sweetness. "Our bank follows strict anti-fraud procedures, especially with elderly clients." There it was again, the dismissal wrapped in politeness. Evelyn didn't shrink this time. "Young man," she said softly, "I have lived through things you only read about in history books. Don't talk to me like fragility is my only trait." The crowd murmured approval. Vin nodded, arms crossed like a fortress. The manager's smile tightened. "Withdrawing such a large amount raises flags. We have responsibilities, to dignity," Vin cut in. "To respect, and to security," the manager snapped back, voice slightly losing its corporate polish. "We can't have people taking advantage of the system." Evelyn's fingers tightened around her cane. That word again, people, coded, loaded. She inhaled slowly, grounding herself, remembering that she wasn't just here for her grandson anymore. Something bigger was unfolding. "I have been banking here for 15 years, she said. "I have never bounced a check, never been late on a bill. I raised my children, buried my husband, paid off my home, paid my taxes, and even donated to your holiday drives. I have earned every penny in that account. No one gave me anything. Don't treat me like a thief because I don't fit your idea of wealth." The bank felt like it was holding its breath. The manager's face twitched, but before he could speak, something unexpected happened. The security guard, a man in his 30s who had been standing by the door watching quietly, stepped forward. "Ma'am," he said, voice steady, "I remember you. You used to bring cookies at Christmas. You gave me one even when I wasn't allowed to take food on duty." Evelyn blinked, memory flickering. "You're James," she said softly. "Your mama was sick." He nodded, throat tight. "You prayed for her. You told me good men take care of their mothers." He turned to the manager. "She's not here to cause trouble." For a moment, the manager looked rattled, the narrative slipping from his fingers. "Regardless," he said stiffly, "this disruption needs to stop. If customers are uncomfortable, it affects our business." "Your teller embarrassed this lady in front of everyone," Vin said, stepping forward. But not aggressively, simply certainly. "The only business affected is the one where humanity should come first." Phones kept recording. Whispers spread. This wasn't just a moment anymore. It was a mirror held up to a system. The manager exhaled sharply, realizing the tide was against him. "Fine," he said, waving his hand. "Let's all move along." Evelyn's heart pounded, not from fear anymore, but from something awakening inside her. She had spent years shrinking harm behind grace, turning pain into forgiveness, because survival taught her to waste no energy on bitterness. But today felt different. Today felt like a lifetime's worth of silenced moments tipping over. "No," she said suddenly, and everything stopped. She wasn't shouting. She didn't need to. Her voice was calm but unshakable. "No, the manager repeated, startled. I won't be quiet, not today, Evelyn said, lifting her chin. I buried too many friends who stayed quiet. I walked too many miles so my grandchildren wouldn't live the same fight I did. The crowd wasn't breathing. Respect is not a privilege, she continued. It's a right. And if you have to look at a person's wallet to decide how to treat them, then you have no business working with the public. The teller's eyes dropped. The manager's jaw clenched. Vin looked at Evelyn with a quiet admiration, as if witnessing a warrior rise. I am not ashamed of who I am, Evelyn added. I am not ashamed of my wrinkles or my cane or my age or my skin. I earned all of them. Someone clapped. Then another. And within seconds, the bank lobby was applauding. Loud, unified, honest. The manager's face turned red. The teller looked like she wanted the earth to swallow her, and the atmosphere shifted from cold marble to warm fire. But just as the applause softened, a new voice cut through. Cold, sharp, well-manicured fingertips tapped against a leather purse. Is there a problem here? A wealthy woman in diamonds stepped forward, sunglasses perched on her head like a crown, tone dripping entitlement like syrup too thick to swallow. Some of us have important things to do today. She gave Evelyn a look, the kind that stripped dignity without a single word said. Evelyn met her gaze and didn't flinch. I suppose kindness isn't one of them, she said. Vin nearly smiled. The woman scoffed, tossing her hair. I just think rules matter. Banks have standards, and people should have them too, Vin replied, especially toward seniors. And especially toward those who think their wealth makes them better, Evelyn added quietly. The woman's mouth opened, but no sound came. For the first time in her life, maybe, she had nothing to say. Silence stretched. Not the tense kind, but the triumphant kind. Evelyn closed her purse gently. I'll be going now, she said, turning toward the exit. Vin stepped beside her. Let me walk you out, she shook her head. I've walked out of worse places on my own. But he still followed, not out of pity, out of respect. As she reached the door, she paused, looking back, her voice soft but carrying. Don't ever mistake age for weakness. Don't ever mistake power for money. She stepped into the sunlight, breath steady, heart full. But the story wasn't done, because as she moved down the steps, her phone buzzed. A notification. Then two, then dozens. People outside were watching the live stream, and one message stood out above the rest, from a name she never expected to see again. Anthony Carter, U.S. State Treasury Office. Mama, call me. They know now, and we have to talk about your past before the media does. Evelyn's heartbeat stumbled. Past media? Vin paused beside her, sensing the shift in her energy. Everything okay? He asked quietly. Evelyn closed her eyes, exhaled, and whispered, I think the world is about to remember who I used to be. Because she wasn't just a grandmother with a cane. She wasn't just a woman withdrawing savings. Miss Evelyn Carter, once civil rights organizer, once strategic advisor to community leaders for justice reform, once someone who had been watched, praised, hunted, feared, and now her story was waking again, louder than ever. This wasn't humiliation anymore. This was reckoning. And as she stepped into the street, the city lights reflecting in her determined eyes, one truth rang clear. She had fought too long to stay invisible. Her voice was back. Her power was back. And soon the world would know why she was never ordinary. If you're watching this right now, comment where you're watching from. Hit like, subscribe, and share. Because this story isn't finished. Not even close. The real storm has just begun. And when the past rises, the world learns who truly stands strong.